But for me to
All right, we're recording. I am going to mute everybody.
Well, I'm on a call.
All right, good morning, guys. Thanks so much for coming up, waking up early, hanging out with me, especially those of you that are East Coast or West Coast time. I know that this is a sacrifice for you. I appreciate that because doing this alone would kind of suck, but I want you, especially by the end of today, to also appreciate that, because what we're going to do today is we're going to kind of dig in a little bit to sacrifice and what your goal is going to take. I was kind of just freestyling a little bit off the top of my head on why I came here to do the mindset one, the mindset power hour, because to me, mindset trumps skill set every time. If you give me a driven, committed person, they'll figure out what to do and how to do it. If you give me a person that doesn't have the right mindset, I can spoon feed them the how to, and it's not going to matter. And so I have trouble with the power hour because I don't feel as though my activity that I do has this sort of duplicatable, like, do this. I don't even operate in that space. In fact, in the network marketing space, I was offered this great opportunity to be part of, some of the top leaders in the industry, be part of a project that's writing a book, doing a big live event for network marketers across the globe. And they invited me to do this, except it was all on social media strategy. Each person, each contributor, each leader had to deliver a chapter on social media strategy. And, they invited me to do this, and I had to go, I'm like, is there any room for a mindset chapter here? Or is it only skill set what to do? And he's like, this project is really just skill set. I'm like, I'm out. I got nothing. This is not my platform. You want to talk mindset all day long, because I firmly believe mindset trumps skill set. We're going to dive in today. I want to honor everybody's time. We will be done here by 9 a.m. Eastern. And I really expect that we're going to have some clarity before we get out of here. So the question that I want to ask you is not a bad question, though it sounds that way. It's an important question. I want to ask you upfront and honestly, when are you going to quit? And everyone's here like, I'm never going to quit. No, stop. That's naive. There are definitely circumstances where I would expect that you would, and you should. Okay? We are all here at Savvy because of a value proposition. That is all we do anything in our lives. We've got goals, we've got dreams, we've got things that we want. We caught a vision that this vehicle is going to get us there. And we will stay here as long as we believe this vehicle is going to get us to our goals. You're going to see me looking down at my notes a little bit. There's this thing that happens when you sign up. You don't see it. You don't hear it. We don't often talk about it, but it happens for every one of us. When you enroll, here's what happens. You're going on the website, you're entering your information, and then there's a submit button. And you submit, and guess what? Congratulations, you joined. And you can't even see it, but it happens to all of us. A timer starts counting down. Counting down. This timer counts down, and when it hits 0, we're done. We are on a race to build our belief in ourselves and in this company before that timer gets to 0. We're on a race to build our belief that we can do this and that this is worth doing. And if we don't build those things and we go down the road and that timer hits 0 and we don't really believe that this is for us and we don't really believe that Savvy is going to get us there, then we're going to quit every time. So we're on a race to build our belief. It's almost like that timer's like the parking meter, where every time you build belief and you get a small win and you're like, ooh, maybe I can do this. Ooh, maybe Savvy really is going to be awesome for me. Every time you build that, you get that little boost of belief. It's like dropping another quarter in the parking meter. Every one of us feels this. Every one of us. We have all been to the place where we know that timer's getting close to the bottom and we're like, is this really worth the effort? And then we get that little win and we're like, oh yes, it's totally worth the effort. And we just boosted a little more time left on that counter. What I want to do is I want to help you develop Develop what it's going to take to put infinite time in that thing so that you make a choice to be here. And then you learn the principles in how to add to that so that you can not just find yourself at this dark place where you don't believe anymore and it's not worth it, but you know systematically how to add change to this little thing. So the first thing that it requires is a vision. You've got to know what it is you're even building here. So many people come into this to see what happens. No, you don't. Nothing builds when you see what happens. I want to be far more intentional than that. And if we're going to be intentional, I'm going to step back and just ask you what you want. What do you want? Not just with Savvy, not just what do you want Savvy to do for you? What do you want with your life? What do you want in this big wide world? You've got one life. What do you want from it? Most people don't know how to answer this question. They have no idea. We're kids. We do what our parents tell us to do. We go to school, do what our teachers tell us to do, play sports, do what our coaches tell us to do, go to college, do what a syllabus tells us to do, which allows us to go out and get a job, or we do what a boss tells us to do. And we get married, we're smart, we do what our wife tells us to do. We've got kids. They all demand all the things, so we do all the things for them. And never once do we even stop and ask, man, is this what I want? Is this the life I envision? I want you to take 10 minutes. I'm going to put this timer on. I want you to take 10 minutes and I want you to write down, just kind of freestyle, just kind of on your paper. What do you want from life? Write it down, feel it, sense it, smell it, get as in detail as you can. Now, here's the temptation that most people do in this. They don't write down what they want. They write down what they think they're capable of. Because what they want seems so big. Who are they to achieve that? If I really said like a lake house on this lake with this boat and these like, who am I? If I said that, people would laugh at me. I'm not asking you what you think you're capable of or what other people think you're capable of. Tell me what you want. I'm going to set a timer. You got 10 minutes. So Kat, you over here in the comments kind of just put out some quick ideas. I want to zoom in on these. Just not that you have to do it publicly, but just for yourself to be thinking through. Healthy in mind, body, and spirit for your health, for yourself, family, and kids is beautiful. It's also really vague. What that means could look like 1,000 different things. And if we don't get clear on exactly what we mean by it, we can often step on what we want and not even really know we've achieved it. So as you're kind of digging into what you mean by that, describe it. Describe it in detail on your paper. What does it mean to be healthy in mind? What does it mean to be healthy in body and spirit? What would that look like? How would you know that you arrived there, right? Ooh, we've got some good ones. You don't even have to put these in the comments. I just kind of love that you guys are. So Dawn Massa, I love everything on that first sentence, just for you, not for us. Think through and define what crazy amounts of money means. It's a very relative term. All right, Christina Leffers. Financial freedom is also a very, very relative term, right? You could decrease your living expenses to virtually nothing and find financial freedom with not much income. But now you talk about these things you want: the house overlooking the valley, the wraparound porch. So I love these things. One thing, not for public, but for you, put a price tag on it. What's it going to cost you to build this house? What's it going to cost you to build that facility? How much income do you need to be bringing in for you to feel as though you're financially free and have the freedom to do the things you want? Because the things you want to do and the things I want to do might be different. So that number might be different. It's relative. All right, Cece, I'm looking up at yours, and then you came down here to this $100,000 a month is a dream income goal. Now, you did what I'm going to caution people to do, so I think you're good here. But when people set money goals, you have to understand that money is just a tool. Wanting more money is like wanting more hammers or wanting more shovels. It's arbitrary. If you don't have a nail to drive and you don't have a hole to dig, wanting more of it is just completely, what am I going to do with 84 hammers? Money's the same way. You have to have a vision for what will that money mean for you? What is it that going to empower you to do? You've got to have a job for the money, like you need a job for the hammer, like you need a job for the shovel. Otherwise, it's arbitrary. But I see, Cece, you did that. I just wanted to kind of zoom in for others that are thinking money is going to be the solution. Money is not. Money solves your vision, gets you to your vision. It's a tool. We've got a couple minutes left on this. As you're kind of wrapping up and just kind of spitting dreams, and this doesn't stop here, this is something you should do regularly. What I want you to do is start imagining, and Liz did this, a couple of you guys did this. Take that big vision and just determine how close do you think you can get to that in 1 year? 1 year from now, to feel like you're making progress toward that. Now, here's the thing. We go from vision to goals, and I draw a big distinction between the two. Vision has nothing to do with what you think you're capable of and everything to do with what you want, okay? Goals have to be very practical. And we ride a very fine line with goals, where a goal has to be big enough and exciting enough to get us up off the couch to work for it, because nobody's going to work for something that sucks. And simultaneously has to be small enough that we genuinely believe it's possible, because we're not going to invest resources in something that we don't think we are even capable of achieving. It's the Goldilocks principle of goal setting. If you guys remember Goldilocks, right? Stumbles into the bear's home, 3 bears, porridge too hot, porridge too cold, porridge just right, bed too hard, bed too soft, bed just right. This is what we've got to do when we set goals. It's got to be exciting enough, big enough to get us off the couch and be like, man, if I could hit that, that would be awesome. But if it's too big, we get overwhelmed. We think, I'm not going to get that anyway. And then we end up not working for it because we're just overwhelmed. We shut down. So it's a gut check to find, okay, 1 year from now, what is the maximum that I realistically believe I'm capable of hitting? That's going to be, that's relative. Some people can legitimately believe that a year from now, they're going to be making 10 grand a month with this. Other people are like, if I could get a $500 paycheck and kind of just build that up. So that's going to be a relative thing. Okay. The next thing, as we kind of dig into this, what can you achieve in 1 year? It's actually a math equation. And I want you guys to understand the math equation. The goal that you set, and I told you to decide on the maximum biggest thing that you think you're legitimately capable of pulling off in this year. Okay, let's call that your goal threshold, the maximum thing that you're capable of, that you believe you're capable of achieving. It's not what you're actually capable of achieving, just what you think you are. We often sell ourselves short, but I'll get to that in a second. This is a math equation, and that's the result of the equation, the goal threshold. The variables that influence the goal threshold are belief in yourself and belief in your vehicle. When you take how much you believe in you and how much you believe in Savvy, and you put those together, that will give you the maximum goal threshold that you can believe for. The maximum. The only way to increase and work toward a more exciting goal is to build the two variables. It's the only way. You can set a big giant goal, but if you're like secretly in your mind, like, I don't think I can do that, you're going to get overwhelmed. You can set a big giant goal and be super self-confident, but if you're like, I don't really think Savvy's where I should be investing my time, you're not going to do this business. You've got to build your belief in both of these things simultaneously to increase the goal threshold. Okay? So let's start with one. I want to believe in you. We often sell ourselves short. And the reason we sell ourselves short is simple. We are very busy. We spread ourselves very, very thin. We take on multiple things. We are playing multiple roles. And so we have a track record where maybe we have not achieved very much. And so we think, based on the fact that we don't have much to show for our years and our effort, we think we're not capable of much. But in reality, it's only because there's really nothing that's gotten the best of us. Nothing's gotten our best effort, our best. We've always divided it. We've always spread it out among so many different things. It's like God built all of us with a million awesome blocks. And instead of building some big, awesome tower, we spread it all one block high and then looked at the horizon and says, I can't do much. No, you could. If you just start stacking those things, you could do awesome things. So we're often not aware of what we are capable of doing. I want you guys to take some time here. I'm going to put like 8 minutes or so. I want you to write a list of all the hard things you've done, the obstacles you've overcome, the things you have achieved, the things where the odds were stacked against you, but you pressed in and you won. You're going to have those. And we're often not aware of them. And I want you to bring these to the forefront of your mind and remind yourself that actually, no, push comes to shove, I am a little bit badass. Cat Wesley beating cancer. Hell yeah, girl. Jody, aha moment, all these things. I didn't think about them. I just did them. Christina graduated high school early, college, dean's list, wife, mom, opened her own business. Dawn decided in pre-K she wanted to be an artist, grew up and did it. We got a lot of moms here. Keep writing if you want to keep writing. This is important work. Got a lot of moms here. And one of the things when I'm going through this stuff with moms, especially just to kind of give you a visual, is I want you to imagine for a second that there was a violent threat between you and your children. And I want you to imagine what you would do to eliminate the violent threat between you and your children. And I will tell you that the answer is freaking anything. Holy crap, you would drop dynamite from heaven and you would blow that up. You would literally, don't mess with a mama bear when her kids are threatened. There is nothing she won't do. She gonna get a little crazy if she needs to get a little crazy. There's nothing she can't do. Whew, that's gonna bring a beast out of you you didn't even know you had inside you. And then you're gonna be like, but I can't wake up at 5:30 and message people. You can't, or you can't do it and stay in your comfort zone at the same time. Don't confuse what you're capable of and what keeps you in your comfort zone. Your comfort zone does not set the limit of your ability. Don't confuse those two. When your back is against the ropes, it is amazing what you can do. When you have a safety net underneath you, it is amazing how wimpy you will let yourself be. And then you convince yourself that you can't. No, that's stupid. Why would you even do that? You're capable of far more than you've even had to show up for yet. Don't sell yourself short. Sorry, I got fired up on that one. Abby just realized she has 2 master's degrees while working full time. Just realized that. You just open your closet and forget you had those? Debbie raised 2 Marines. Shannon. Surprise just popped into her head and she was brain dumping, but giving the eulogy at dad's funeral and then mom's 2 years later. That is hard. That is hard. Stephanie beating cancer, surviving sexual abuse, surviving being bullied, depression. Got out of an emotionally abusive marriage. Raised her daughter 100% alone. This is Kelly. 0 support. Come on now. This is a room of powerful women. Don't have a conversation with me about what you can't do. I won't even want to hear it. And I hope from now on, you're not going to allow yourself to hear it either. Not from you and not from anyone else. Because you can do hard things. You haven't even scratched the limit of what you can do. So stop telling yourself you can't. Maybe you can't and stay in your comfort zone at the same time. I'll admit that. A lot of the things we can't do those things and stay in our comfort zone at the same time. But don't confuse those two and think that that is the limit of your ability just because it would require getting outside of your comfort zone. Those are different things. And understanding that distinction is incredibly important. Okay. Believing that you are awesome. Believing that you are awesome is step 1. Believing that you're capable is step 1. Now, where do you put all that awesomeness? What does it go to? What is the vehicle that you're going to drive? You're here in Savvy. You made a choice to be here. Nobody twisted your arm. Nobody put a gun to your head. No one made you sign up for this. You chose this. I want this. You want this. To get the best of you, to get all of that fire, all of that ability, so you can see what it's actually capable of. But you're only going to do that if you believe it's worth it. See, you need to believe that this is worth all of you, because all of you is pretty legit. You need to believe that this is worth all of you. So take a few minutes. I'll put maybe 5 minutes on a timer here. And what I want you to do with these 5 minutes is I want you to list at least 3 reasons why Savvy right here is the perfect vehicle for you to invest the best of you into. Why are you here? What is it about this Savvy here and now that is so awesome that it has the potential and power to get you where you want to go? Take about 5 minutes and kind of work that out in some bullet points. All right, I'm seeing some things come in here, and I want to coach these a little bit. So Stephanie, you're writing community, team support, encouragement. These are important things. But when you look at what you wanted and that goal, that vision that you wrote down, you can get community, you can get team support, you can get encouragement without making a single dollar. You can come here and get all that stuff, girl, and you didn't make a buck. Now, if that aligns with what you're looking for, fantastic. You can come here for all the community support and encouragement. But if you're going to get uncomfortable and pour in, you've got to believe that this vehicle is going to get you where you're going. Allison wants a little guidance. Okay. Meg saying still possible to get to the top, the pre-launch. I'll tell you guys, that was big for me, was the timing in this industry. The timing of Savvy, how new this was. I saw potential to be able to take this to a height and a place that just by nature of timing was not going to be available with virtually anything else. Ken has said this, the people that get in now, the effort they put in will grow teams that are tens of thousands. The people that come in 5 years later, same effort, teams of thousands. 5 years after that, the same effort, teams of hundreds. 5 years after that, the same effort, teams of tens. What we're sitting on is unique in the space. Whether you capitalize on that or not, that's up to you. But what you're sitting on is unique. That's what attracted me. I wanted to be, someone mentioned trailblazer. I wanted to be that. I wanted to be in a place where I could influence, where I would have a voice, where it would matter, where I could shape and move and grow and had all the potential. So when I was getting a lot of people, hey, want to join this one? Hey, want to join this one? How old is it? How old is it? I wanted to know. I wanted to know if there was room for me to come in and do what I wanted to do here, or if kind of the room was already established. Different people want different things. Some people need to come into an established company where systems are running smoothly, cut their teeth, learn, grow. Okay, this is how it is. This is how it is. They learn. Then they get into a place where they explode. So some people need systems while they're cutting their teeth and learning. I get that. Okay. Now with the belief in you, and this is not just, we don't just do this in an hour, right? I'm giving you the tools to kind of work through how to build these things. You build belief in you build belief in this vehicle, which increases your goal threshold. Now your capacity to want bigger and exciting things and believe that you've got what it takes and this vehicle has what it takes to get you there. That's how you learn to set big goals and want big things. You can be around all the people and be like, I'm going to go do this. And then you get home to the quiet of your house and you're looking in the mirror and you're like, I don't think I can do that. If you don't believe it, it don't matter what you say out loud. You will never act contrary to your belief, ever. Charles Blondin is the best example of this. He was a French acrobat, I think back in like the 1850s, and he would tightrope walk across Niagara Falls, did it like 8 times in a row one summer, came back. And some of you probably know this story. It's gone circles, right? So he goes across this thing on stilts. He goes across on a bicycle. He goes across with a mini stove and cooks himself an omelet while he's walking across the tightrope. He comes back to land and the crowd on both sides, the Canadian side and the American side, cheering for him. And he's like, who thinks I can push this wheelbarrow across? And they're all like, yeah, totally you can. Who thinks I can do it with someone inside? And they're all like, yeah. And they're waiting for his assistant to get in the wheelbarrow to prove he can do it, but he has no assistant. And he's like, who's going to get in the wheelbarrow? It's one thing to say and cheer with a crowd. You're at convention, you're here, yay, I totally believe. And then you're in the quiet of your house. Are you getting in the wheelbarrow? No, I'm not going to get uncomfortable for this. Ooh, see, we got to press on all those buttons. I don't care what you say and the hype and the excitement of the crowd. That doesn't get you anywhere. That's why we build this stuff. Next thing I want you to do is to decide that you're going to be here a year from now. Most people don't decide. They just sign up to try until it gets too uncomfortable. I want you to decide, literally write on your paper. I will be here 1 year from now. You want to take it another level? I will be here 1 year from now with a good attitude. One thing to tell your kid to clean their room and they mope up the stairs. Another thing to have them be like, yeah, mom, I got it. And you're like, who is this kid? Did I raise that? Because that attitude was fire. Jackie's here 5 years from now. Melissa's not going anywhere. We make that commitment, we make that decision. All right, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I'm not going to really set a timer on this. I'm going to give about 90 seconds for each one, a series of questions. I want you to answer this. If I go all in and fail, what is the worst that will happen to me? If I go all in, give it all the fire best of my awesomeness, and it just doesn't work out, what's the worst that's going to happen to you? Okay. If I go all in and succeed, what is the best that will happen for me? Ready for this last one? If I never give this my best, how will I feel? If I go 5 years down the road and I was sitting on this, but it never got the best of me and I never really got to see what could have been, how would I feel? In our lives as humans, we never regret failing at something that got the best of us. We feel pride, not in achievement, but we feel pride in knowing that we gave it our best. We can walk off the field with a losing score, but our heads held high because we gave it our best. Failure's not what we fear. We fear getting to the end, not having the time left, and having not given it our best, wondering what could have been, if only. When you line up these three questions, it almost makes you feel silly for not giving it your best. If the worst case scenario of giving it your best and failing is completely benign and arbitrary, the best case scenario is awesome. And the feeling of not giving it your best, I hope that brings some clarity. Now, in order to gain new territory, in order to move toward your goals, in order to progress, get out of here. You don't want to be here. You signed up for Savvy because you don't want to be here. If you loved here, you wouldn't have signed up. You signed up because you wanted more than here. Awesome. In order to move out of here, which is governed by your comfort zone, which determines what you think you're capable of, it's going to require a sacrifice. And the cost of success is always your routine and your comfort zone. Those two things, routine and comfort zone, they got you here. You should thank them. It could totally be worse. Could way be worse. You should thank them. In fact, because it could be worse, that's part of the reason we stay stuck so long, is because we've learned so much to appreciate our routine and our comfort zone because we recognize it could be worse. So we embrace them for fear of the worse. without being willing to let them go for excitement and hope of the better. So what I want you to do is understand that new territory is going to require shedding those. How much time in a week can you realistically, with all your other responsibilities, how much time in a week can you realistically give to your business? It's a question you should answer on your paper. How much time can you realistically in a week give to your business? And then looking at your schedule, looking at the amount of time you can give, what are you going to have to sacrifice in order to give this what it deserves? I think a lot of time when we're setting goals, we don't proactively make ourselves aware of the necessary sacrifices. And so because we haven't decided what we're willing to sacrifice, then we come up against necessary sacrifices and we're not sure we want to make those. So we end up shrinking back. So I want us to proactively determine what we're willing to sacrifice, what we understand we'll have to sacrifice if we're going to give this business the time, effort, energy it deserves. You already decided you're going to go all in and you're going to give it the best of you. All in is not a time commitment. It's an emotional commitment. I need you to understand that. All in is not a time commitment. It is an emotional commitment. I want you to think of it like a high school crush. Y'all had different families. You were busy in sports. You were doing lots of other things. You didn't get much time together, but even in the time you didn't have, you were doodling about them and dreaming about them. They consumed every bit of like all the excitement and vision, though you didn't get much time. That's all in. It's that emotional commitment. What are you going to have to sacrifice? If you're going to give this your best, it is going to require an environment that brings out the best in you. Environment is multifactorial. Your environment consists of the house you live in. It consists of the body you're housed in. It consists of the friends that surround you and family. It consists of the workspace you do your work. I want you to look at that environment in your mind, and I want you to imagine to yourself, and I want you to imagine, are these things holding me accountable to be my best, or are they lovingly embracing me exactly as I am? I'm going to step on some toes here. Is your bed made? Are you showered and put together and dressed professionally? Are you proud of the body that you're in? When you step up to do your work, are you in a workspace that's clean and it's pristine and it's organized? And you're like, oh, okay, this is by nature of its environment going to require me. We all know this. It's why we love Savvy. We put on the clothes and how do we feel? We feel confident. We feel like we can bring our best to the game because we feel good. Curate an environment in every space around you that gives you that same feeling, and you're going to rise to the occasion. You're going to do your best. When I put on a suit and a tie and I've got shoes on, I'm going to speak differently. I answer the phone differently. I have a different energy. If you surround yourself all day with people that are going nowhere, expecting nothing, you're going to feel like a rock star just because you made your bed. But if you're with people that are ambitious, vision driven, going places, you're going to have to feel, just to fit in, we're herd animals, just to feel like you're fitting in is going to require you to step up your game. We need to make sure the environment we're in is calling out the best of us. My office for a long time was a mess. And when I walked by it, I gutturally didn't want to be in there. It was overwhelming. It was distracting. It was chaotic. I didn't want to be there, so I would avoid it. I learned this, and Sonny and I put a budget together. I cleaned out the whole thing. I got new furniture. I got new decor. Now I walk by my office and I'm like, I want to go to there. That place is awesome. This is just my home office. But so my space is good. I want to be there. It's professional. It's bright. It's clean. It looks great. I will still show up differently, whether I'm in a hoodie and a hat or whether I've done something to my hair and I've got a tie and a jacket on. I'm going to show up differently. Make sure in your environment you're showing up differently. I want you to take, let's do 5 minutes. And I want you to audit your environment. House, body, friends, workspace. And these are just examples. You know your environment, and I think you're getting. I want you to audit that. And I want you to determine which parts of your environment are holding you accountable to the best version of you, and which parts of your environment are allowing you to skate by without being better. Kate wants me to repeat that. Yeah, Kate. So for these 5 minutes, you're just auditing your environment and you're looking at the space you occupy, what you're surrounded in, and it's social circles you're surrounded in, it's physical location you're surrounded in, it's the body you're surrounded in, the outfit you're surrounded. You're looking at all the things that surround you and asking yourself, are they holding me accountable to be better and requiring me to elevate, or are they allowing me to stay perfectly stayed put? I know this steps on toes because we're so married to our comfort zones. We don't want to sacrifice them. We like them. They've done us pretty good so far. And you don't have to sacrifice them, but you're not going to move forward. I just want you to be clear. You need to be in an environment that's going to call out the best in you. That's why these power hours are great, because you can look to the left and to the right, and you've got people here that are moving forward, that are excited, that are going to hold you accountable to be here, to show up, to give the best of you. When you look at your environment and you're looking at this audit and you're seeing those things that are not calling you out, to be the best version of you? What's more important, the vision you have for your life and the goals you have for your life, or the environment you've become comfortable with? That's just a question to answer. We're going to have to answer that question over and over and over. And you're going to go through a season, maybe at first, where you're like, it's just not worth sacrificing these relationships. It's not worth sacrificing these things. It's not worth the sacrifice. Okay, that's where you are now. I get it. But you're going to constantly have to ask yourself, are my goals worth it? Are my goals worth it? What are my friends going to think if they know I'm doing this? I don't know. If you want to get sober and all your friends drink, you have to ask yourself, do you want to be the best version of you, or do you want to be around them because it's comfortable? And now you're not going to get there because they're always going to be pulling you back into what it is that you've decided you want to sacrifice. Ooh, Becky, how do you not get overwhelmed when you think everything needs to change? You make a 1 degree turn. Just make a 1 degree turn. Don't get overwhelmed. Do the one thing you can do. Shower. Do your hair. Take a day and clean your space. And if your space is too big, do what I do, because we've got kids running around, homeschooled the space. Just clean your car. It's much smaller. It's a much easier clean. And then you can get into your car and you're like, oh, this is good. I clean it down to there's no even dust on the dashboard. Okay. Even if the house is chaotic, this space is good. All right. We're going to wrap up a couple of minutes here. This next question, going to be another 90-second answer because it should not be a long answer. Whose opinion matters? Whose opinion matters? To you, it's a personal question. The choices we make and the actions that we take are going to elicit opinions from lots of people. If we're not clear on whose opinion matters, we run the risk of being swayed by lots of opinions that don't actually matter. I have a list of people whose opinions matter. So when I get a no, and I get you're an a-hole, and I get why would you do that, and I get all these things, I look at who said it, I compare it to my list. They're not on my list. Guess what? I don't care. I don't care. I'm not doing it for them. When people ask me, what will people think? Which people matter? Having this vision for where you're going is what inspires the confidence that you're going to get there. My goal is not to be great at Savvy. I've got goals and vision for my family. I just believe Savvy's a vehicle to get me there. Being good here is not my vision. This is just getting, my vision existed before I knew about Savvy. When you've got a vision, what do you want for your life? Where we started this whole journey this morning, what do you want for your life? Where are you going? That vision is going to require faith that you're going to become stronger and wiser over the course of this thing. That vision needs to be bigger than you're capable of right now. It has to be. It's going to require wisdom you don't yet have. It's got to require strength you don't yet have. It's got to require skills you haven't yet learned. If your vision for your life could be achieved now, then it requires nothing more of you. Have a vision so big, so exciting. Build your confidence in yourself and your vehicle that of course you're getting there. You don't know when, but of course that's going to happen. It is that vision, that commitment to that vision, that is what is going to build within you the confidence to overcome all of the inevitable obstacles you're going to face. I'm going here, so clearly I don't stop here. This is hard. This one's hard. How do I get over this? I'm not getting people to join my team. This is hard. But I'm going here, so I know I get past this spot. So I might not yet even know how I get past this spot, but I know I don't end here. So I have to keep going. I've got to find a way. I've got to ask questions and read books and listen to podcasts. I've got to find a way around here because this isn't where I end because I'm committed to this vision. When you don't have a vision you're committed to and you're coming in here with, I'm just going to see what happens, every single obstacle is going to beg the question, maybe this is how far I get. It's only your commitment to your vision that gives you the commitment to overcome whatever obstacle comes in your way because you're like, wait, I know I don't end here. I know that. I don't know how I'm going to get past this. I don't know when I'm going to get past this, but I know I am going to get past this. So I'm committed to finding a way past this. This business is going to require that vision, and it's going to require you to be so committed, so confident in that vision, because if you're going to win here, you're going to need other people to catch a vision. And if you don't have a vision, they're not going to catch a vision. Let me tell you this, your confidence in what you are yet to do is always more inspiring than what you have done. But Jim, who's going to follow me? I haven't done anything yet. It's your confidence in what you're yet to do that inspires people, not what you have done. It's your confidence in what you're yet to do. When you build that confidence, I'm going here. This is exactly where I'm going. That's what's going to inspire people. That's what's going to make them want to partner with you. But you can't do that if you don't have a vision. You can't do that if you haven't decided when you're working, what you're willing to sacrifice, that you're going to be here a year from now. And when you line up those commitments and you start saying, ooh, okay, I've got what it takes, so I'm going to go do this. Now, for the first time, do you have the posture and the confidence to have a vision, to invite people to this amazing thing that you're doing with an air and the thing that's going to attract them to want to do this with you? These are the intangibles. This is why I can't do power hours that are like, say these words to these people. I can't do that. That's not me. I build up this belief that I am going to freaking take over this entire thing. I don't know how, I don't know when, but that's where I'm going, and I can, and this is worth it, and it's worth sacrificing for. And so with all of that in me, guess what happens? It just bubbles up and I do it. I don't even know how I do it. I don't even know, but I know that this obstacle, this place where this is hard, it's not where I stop, so I have to get over, so I find a way. You want to win. That's how you win. You build all that up on the inside. What are you, last question and we're done, going to do with this business? Write that down and then let's go do it. Love you all. Thank you for hanging out with me an hour this morning. Walked us through some work. I hope that was awesome. I hope it gave some clarity. I hope it inspired you to go take all the other power hours that now tell you what to do. I hope you now have the right mindset to take those and go through them with the proper confidence that's going to be able to get you what you want to go get. Mwah. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you.